Namaskar, friends. Friends, in the last three sections, we have discussed the eternal parts which constitute this system of existence. Those parts are eternal. Okay. Bhagwan Krishna, Mata Mahalakshmi, and their associated fields, Brahm, and the field of consciousness, intelligence, and knowledge. They are all eternal. Then we came to the next section, that is time, which again is eternal, with no beginning or end. Then we came to the third section, which was about the soul. And the soul is also eternal, as told by Bhagavan Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, in the previous three sections, we have discussed the eternal parts of this very existence, which is running in the present times. But these three parts are eternal. In this section, we are going to discuss the physical universe, how it has been created, and which is also destructible. It has a beginning and it also has an end. Remember, I am talking about the physical universe. This physical universe, it includes us human beings, all animal, birds, insects, plants, this earth, all the planets, all the constellations, stars that are connected to this particular existence. They are all destructible and they have a limited life and they will come to their end when the life finishes. That we'll discuss in the section on time. Now, friends, in ancient Indian texts, creation has been defined in 10 steps. So, we discuss in brief in the beginning of this series about Darwin's theory. So, Darwin's conclusion was very simplistic in the sense that it does not give any details. It just says that all the chemicals they reacted among themselves. And Darwin's theory uses the word somehow. If you read the original version of Darwin's theory, it uses the word somehow, which is not a scientific word. And somehow a cell was formed from the pool of so many chemicals on Earth. Cell was formed, and then life started. Now, ancient Indian texts, they are not so simplistic. They go into extreme details, as you will see, that how advanced is the thinking in ancient Indian texts about creation. So, friends, first of all, we discuss about Brahm, the Higgs field, which has been scientifically discovered. So, Brahm is a scientifically discovered entity or an existence. So, nobody can dispute it. Nobody can dispute the presence of Brahm. And the first step where all creation starts, the physical creation, it starts with the same Brahm. The Brahm interacts with time. Okay. The Brahm interacts with time, the three gunas, Sat, Rajas, and Tamas. We'll come to details of these later. Right now, you understand just this much. And time also interacts with karma that has been stored in Brahm via the medium of the souls. We discussed souls contain all the memories, all the intelligence in them. That soul is part of Brahm, so that all the knowledge that is inside the souls is also part of the Brahm, and that knowledge also interacts with time. So we have these four things: God Almighty, Brahm, the three gunas, time, and karma, the knowledge. They interact with each other and they produce what? Mahatattva. What is Mahatattva? It's the primary element of all creation. And what is that primary element of all creation? That Mahatattva gives rise to Ahankar, or three types of intelligence. As you will see in the slide, what is the three types of intelligence? The first is Vakaric intelligence. It is the knowledge power. The second is Tejas intelligence, which is the action power. And the third is Tamas intelligence, which gives rise to the material power. Okay, friends? Just see this slide. The slide itself is uh, self explanatory, and you will see that the beginning of creation is from the Brahm, all the material, as it has been described in Higgsville. But that first interacts with time, the three gunas, the karma, the knowledge, and produces three types of intelligence. Okay, it is not like Darwin's theory that okay, all material started being produced, suddenly all the cells started getting emerging from the uh, pool of chemicals. It's not that. First, it is the intelligence which has been created. This needs to be very well understood because this will go very long way in this series of lectures. It is all about intelligence. So we come to the next slide. So Brahm first of all creates time. Time interacts with karma, stored as knowledge field parallel to Brahm. Time also interacts with the three qualities of intelligence and creates intelligence of three types. The three types of intelligence that is created is Vakaric, Tejas, and Tamas. The Vakaric intelligence produces knowledge power. Tejas intelligence produces action power. And Tamas intelligence produces the material power, the physical world. Okay, all this physical world we are having, it is produced from Tamas intelligence. Friends, note this. This is again very, very important. Now the second stage, the third stage I should say, how Tamas intelligence produces physical material world. So first of all, the Tamas intelligence produces the space. Okay, you will all appreciate that any physical material, whether it is gaseous, liquid, or solid, it requires some space. Without any volume or space, there can't be a physical material. So the first thing that the Tamas intelligence produces is the space, which has been mentioned as sky. in ancient Indian texts. And its quality is alphabet that has been mentioned in the text. Alphabet can also be thought of as speech. Right now, just note this. We go on further. So, this space again interacts with Brahm and it produces Vayu, air, or the gaseous matter. So, first the space is produced, then the gaseous matter. And the properties of this gaseous matter is alphabet plus touch. So, this space, gaseous matter, and Brahm again interact with each other and they produce stage or energy or light. Okay, and this has the properties of alphabet, touch, and form. Form we can see only when there is light and there is a vision. Okay, now these stage, Vayu, and sky they again interact with Brahm and produce Jal, the liquids. And the liquids have the properties of alphabet, touch, form, and taste. Now these four Jal, Tej, Vayu, Sky again interact with Brahm and then they produce the solid matter, the physical matter, which has the properties of alphabet, touch, form, taste, and smell. Now, friends, one very important thing to note is that it is not just the atoms that have been created and from that something has formed and the living being has formed. No, all living beings have these five senses, and no life can be thought of without these five senses, or maybe some of these senses. All life forms have these five senses as well as the physical bodies. So, at the time the physical body is created, at the same time the senses are also being created. Look at how advanced the thinking is in ancient Indian texts. Are you understanding the depth of all this information that is given in ancient Indian texts? The importance? The science is nowhere, modern science is nowhere near all this knowledge. But this knowledge is contained in ancient Indian texts. Now, with the creation of all of this physical matter, at present we do not have details on how the universes were created, how the planetary system, the solar system was created. We do not have these details. Again, I like to point out that maybe all these details have been lost when the ancient Indian universities like Nalanda and Takshila were destroyed. So a huge amount of knowledge contained in those libraries, in those universities, were lost forever. So you must understand the importance of ancient Indian texts, the depth of thinking in ancient Indian texts, and how much information is contained in these texts. This is only a cursory information I'm telling you. When we go deep into the research of these texts, you'll find hundreds of thousands of many new scientific facts which are unknown to modern science. So here again I'll give a complete assessment. Now look at this slide. Now we look at this slide and Almost all of this we have already discussed, but this will give you an overall idea of the system that we are living in. Now, this is the first field, which is the Brahm. Okay. And this is the field of consciousness. This blue field you're seeing here is the field of consciousness. Now we will come to details of these later, but this field of consciousness is further divided into the field of intelligence, the field of knowledge, and of course the field of consciousness. Now this overall field is represented by Chaturbhuja Mahalakshmi or Mata Radha or Mata Yogmaya. And the field of intelligence is under the control of Chaturbhuja Mahasaraswati. Friends, note this Chaturbhuja part. We'll come to that later, but note this. The field of knowledge is controlled by Chaturbhuja Mahakali. We'll again come to the details of this later. And the overall field of consciousness that is controlled by Chaturbhuja Mahalakshmi. Yeah, yeah. And within this Brahm, one is the Prithvi Lok, that is this world that has been created. It holds humans, Tiryakyonis, the lower life forms, and Asuras. Then there is Devlok, where Devtas reside. Don't confuse Devtas with God Almighty Bhagwan Krishna. Devtas are the ones who are managing the operation of Prithvi Lok. Then we have Pitralok. Pitralok is where the souls, Pit, they reside. Then we have the universes of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Brahmalok, Vishnulok, Rudralok, Maheshlok. And this forms one universe, and just like this one universe, and within these fields, there are billions of universes existing. Okay, so now with this knowledge with us, we will further elaborate on this in the next video.